What's going on, everybody out there? I'm Chris, he's Mike, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review. First and foremost, this is going up on Thanksgiving. We are recording this the night before Thanksgiving, but knowing uploads and people's availability, you guys will probably be seeing this the day after Thanksgiving. However, the post date will be for Thanksgiving Day. So hopefully you all are having a wonderful Thanksgiving as this video goes live for its first day. Hopefully when you come back the next day and you come check out the video, you guys had a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Apologies that this is a bit late. It's been a hectic week of, let's put it this way, our mother turns into the Joker around this time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's very scary. And Mike and I worry for our lives a lot of the times.
Oh, yeah.
He used to be handsomer.
But Taz is so handsome. You don't remember the joke, do you?
No, I remember it now. It took
wow. Anyway, the books.
The books.
That were and are going to be reviewed in this were released on November 16, 2016. And we're going to start with your book. We have 30 books in total, actually. Now, come on. We've done more.
I know, I'm just joking.
Let's get
I loved each and every book this week except for one. So, Aliens, Life and Death. This is issue number 3, I believe.
3.
3, yes.
Okay.
Issue number 3. I really like this issue. So, the team now lands on the planet LV-426. Thank you. Maybe I am right. And what happens is, Chris knows that she is impregnated and tries to tell her wife, don't come for me. Leave. I'm impregnated. There's nothing you could do. And then that's when the wife says that the guy from Weyland-Yutani offers to, put her in cryo sleep, bring her back, take the alien out. She lives. And, whatever. They try to save her. And we find out that the aliens are dying. Their babies, as they come out, they're coming out stillborn. So it's the queen, they think. The queen was affected somehow and her eggs kind of suck. So they made a new queen and it's in Chris's body.
Wow.
So it's and that's why the aliens won't attack Chris.
Gotcha.
Really interesting. I really like this issue a lot. Of course the wife is not going to give up on her. So we're going to see where this whole thing goes with Chris. In the next issue, Abraham and I forgot what the other guy's name was. It's so hard to pronounce his name anyway, but Galahad find a ship, but then they find out that the engineer is following the ship, and the engineer actually shows up in front of the soldiers at the end of this issue. It's going to be some crazy stuff. Archie, issue number 14. Veronica puts this girl in her place, and it's awesome, but that's not the main attraction. The main attraction here is Archie and Jughead. Archie becomes Jughead. And Jughead, to save Archie from being him, becomes Archie.
What a huge opposite right there.
It was scary as hell reading this book. I like this issue. It was a lot of fun to read. It was enjoyable. It's classic Archie, guys. You really should. Hopefully Veronica will get home soon because she realizes she misses being in Riverdale. Obviously she will come back. It's a given. Yeah. I feel bad there wasn't any Betty really in this issue, which was kind of upsetting. But what can you do? But it was still a really great, fun read. Demotic, issue number 4. Thank you. I like this issue because now, because now this and Killer Bee Kill came out at the same time and I can't remember the name. Now the main character realizes there's a way to, at first he was trying to stop Novo and he was chasing after people who were trying to bring it back. Now he wants to more harness it for himself. And I love how he goes to this old man who's one of the people that knows how to stop or take Novo out of him. And he's like, I don't want Novo taken out of me. I want to know how to control it. And he's like, you can't. He's like, well, you better find out how or I'm coming back to kill you and I will be back. So it's really cool. And the demon is actually fighting back against him because now he's starting to become resilient towards everything. He wants to actually now make this. This is actually starting to work for him in a way. And it's really cool. I'm really enjoying. Demotic is a lot of fun to read. I'm enjoying it a lot. Godzilla Race Through Time, issue number 4. I'm literally going to throw this out there. It's Godzilla in Roman time, basically. Enough said. And the Romans end up taking him down, but obviously Godzilla never stays down for long. He comes back years later And you still have that team that's looking for more answers on Godzilla. Next issue, I believe, is the last issue. This is an okay series. It's literally Godzilla through time. Oh, the next issue is going to be the dawn of time, dinosaurs.
Oh.
So we're going to see Godzilla's technical beginning, maybe. I don't know, but this issue was fun. Artwork was interesting, but yeah. Now, Kill or Be Killed, issue number 4, also. This one, the main character is, obviously sleeping with his best friend now, who is the girl he loves, but his roommate and other friend is obviously still dating her. They're supposed to break up. She just wants to break up with him. She wants it to be organic. She doesn't want it to look like she's leaving him for the main character. The main character is still going out there killing people he feel are guilty. But the problem is, unlike Demotic, where this guy's doing a really great job, this guy's like a wimp. So he really doesn't do a good job, and he shoots this guy, who he thinks is a bad guy, but really is a good guy. So he's screwing up left and right. And then the roommate thinks the girl's cheating on him with the main character, and now she has to talk. At the end of this issue, she said, we need to talk about something. I have a feeling in the next issue she's not going to leave the guy's roommate, because he probably, thinking that she was cheating, he called her over and said, oh my God, I love you so much, I'm so glad you're not cheating. So maybe her guilty conscience has finally gotten to her now, and I feel like the main character's really screwing himself because of this deal.
Mm-hmm.
Honorable mention goes out to Samurai. This is issue number 3. I'm loving this series. I still have to finish the issue, but apparently the slave girl is still trying to break away from the people she was sold to get back to the samurai. And the samurai in this issue actually gets double-crossed by the woman samurai on this cover. Really great stuff, really great artwork. I would definitely recommend checking this book out. You guys will really enjoy it.
Alright, so my turn now. Let's start off with Angry Bird Comics issue number 11. So in Angry Birds, normally there will be 3 stories, but lately I've noticed there's only been actually 2. Well, which is fine. I mean, at least there's more than one. But basically, it's a fun read. The first story talks about this big, huge, giant pig robot that they want to build, because that big red bird, the pigs are afraid of, so they want to build something big that'll attack the birds. So as all the birds try to attack it, the bomb with the lightning bolt came down, and that's how it destroyed the robot. And then the second story, the king pig was feeling sick, so they said, who wants to be king? And they chose a lottery. Turned out one of the pigs, minus the chef and this other guy, I forgot what his name was, that wanted to be king. The little pig became the pig, and then they all got sick, so I guess everybody got sick, because when you're sick, you can't be king. You gotta give it to somebody else. Atomic Robo, Volume 2, Issue number 4. So now with all of stuff that's going on with Robo, with this whole secret project, now they know that Dr. Liu has this project. And the person who has this bald head, I can't remember his name for life of me, kidnaps him and says that, I want you to show me your project. And it could go one of 2 ways. You could not show me the project and destroy the world, or help save the world, but then I still take control. So it's like a lose-lose situation here. So there's that going on. And also Robo gets kidnapped by these Russians, and he doesn't know their language or what they say. So they bring him to the leader of them. I forgot who it was. But there's dynamite with explosions and everything. And Atomic Robo actually goes face to face with the guy who had Dr. Liu captive. And then there's a huge fight scene. And then some with the dynamite actually plays a role in this. But it's to be continued in the next issue. This was my uninteresting book of the week. Britannia, issue number 3 from Valiant. I am really trying to get an understanding of this book. And to be honest, I really can't get an understanding of it. All I know is that, why does his name escape me? He's actually going on this quest to find something in Britannia. And he had this vision of when he was with his wife. And then we get a flashback of how his wife died after he had a baby boy and everything. And how he hated the boy. And then he's trying to tell the green spirit person that that he really loved him and everything, and it's just like a whole big turnaround. And he also falls in love with this other woman, the slave woman that he saw.
Keep talking. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, it's just Oh,
I'm just fixing something. Yeah.
Okay. But I don't know. I'm just gonna see how long this is gonna be, because if this is ongoing, I might just drop it because I really just can't get understanding of it. Insufferable, Home Field Advantage. I believe this is volume 3.
Yep.
Of Insufferable. And Nocturnus and Galahad are doing the force field thing to find out where Meg is, because Meg has been kidnapped by a group of people who we don't know about. Until this issue, we actually find out who she's being kidnapped by, and it's these gang members who have this thing of kidnapping people, and they know Nocturnus and Galahad, and the leader of that is trying to kill Nocturnus, the guy with the green robe and everything else. Now, they both have a love for Meg, but Galahad is trying to fall in love with her before Nocturnus does, because Nocturnus said to stay with Bob, who was doing all that shield thing, the force field, and that's how they could find her for all the information. So with that, they just do this whole big thing, and Nocturnus found the hideout, and now it's going to be Nocturnus against the leader of the gang, but also to get through the other gang to save Meg. So it's a pretty interesting issue. I definitely say to check it out if you're reading it. So here's yours.
Oh, I thought the Transformer book was going to be my worst one-shot from Revolution. It goes to G.I. Joe. I'm really sorry to say it goes to G.I. Joe. Not for the story. The story was really good. And as a matter of fact, it ends with a to be continued in G.I. Joe issue number 1. So at least we have, issue 1 to look forward to. But I don't like the artwork. The artwork really is what made this book, in my opinion, suffer.
Yeah, you let me look at it too, and I said it was very sketchy.
I do not like this artwork. This artwork does not feel G.I. Joe. I've read G.I. Joe Real American Hero, and I read the IDW G.I. Joe 1 through whatever. Granted, it took me a while to read it all because it's very wordy, and there are times where it wasn't something I wanted to review at that time. Not that I didn't like it. I would recommend both. I love Real American Hero, and I love G.I. Joe. Now that's ending G.I. Joe, the IDW one, and starting over again. And unfortunately, this is the artist on the book, and I really just didn't dig this book as far as the artwork. As far as the story, the G.I. Joes go on a rescue mission, and unfortunately, it turns out 2 of my characters I remember from my childhood, Grand Slam and Wild Bill. Wild Bill was taken over by the aliens. Grand Slam ends up being killed, which was kind of sad. And I love how, why did his name leave me? But he's like, please tell me he's going to change. Please change. Don't tell me he's really a human. And then in the end we find out, this is a spoiler, that the person that they're there to rescue, or the thing that they're there to rescue or bring back, is a Transformer. And it says to be continued in G.I. Joe issue number 1, which comes out next month. Honestly, I really do hope the artist changes. Not saying that his artwork is not good. It doesn't fit G.I. Joe specifically. I could see this artwork in other books for sure. But for G.I. Joe, every time I think of G.I. Joe, I think of the artist that does Real American Hero, and I think of the artist that did the G.I. Joe book. Maybe that's why it's kind of like Sonic. Sonic would not be Sonic if they changed the artist all the time. It's like Garfield. Remember when that artist took over Garfield?
Yeah, that one.
Same thing.
Yeah, and speaking of Sonic, Sonic Universe, issue number 92. This is the case of the missing pirate princess of part 2 of 4. And this book I did review on Comic Frontline, so I'm just going to give a brief, but I also want to show the artwork. So, Team Chaotix are on the pirate ship, along with the lieutenant, who want to save Princess Adina. And as we get a little bit of a backstory about the princess, I have to admit, she looks, well, not look, she's actually very naive, because they're telling her all these things, and then she's like falling for it, but sooner or later, she's gonna snap out of it. SBL did try to talk to her and try to say that, the pirates are using you for all these things, and then she just doesn't want to listen. She feels that there's much to look ahead. And now the Team Chaotix, who are joining the pirates, because Vector came up with the idea of joining pirates for the reason to save Princess Udina. I mean, that's what I think. And as a plan. And so I guess we're going to see Team Chaotix as pirates for now instead of the detectives. So a really great read, and I'm looking forward to reading the next 2 parts of the Case of the Missing Pirate Princess.
Invincible 131. This was a crazy issue. So the 2 people you see here, the 2 Voltrumites, end up attacking. You know, we all know that Thor found where Mark was. So he wants to take Mark out of the equation. So he sends these 2 of his children to fight Mark. And the girl ends up fighting Eve, who didn't see that coming. Mark ends up being chased by this guy. And really the whole issue is him and his daughter, him running away with his daughter, and Eve kind of sacrificing herself to one of them, one of the Voltrumites, in order to get, to save his daughter and to save Mark. However, the comic ends in a very precarious situation for both Eve and for Mark and their daughter. So this is a really good issue, and apparently in the next issue it says here there's a cataclysmic event of next issue. There's something really big's going to happen that springboards us into the final 12 issues of Invincible. So we have one more year, because obviously this is for the month of November, so next month's December, so we have another year. This time next year we will be talking about the penultimate almost final issue. I was going to say grand finale. This month in 2017 we will be talking about the second to last issue of Invincible. And then in December, we will be covering the final issue of Invincible. So there's going to be some really crazy stuff that goes on from January of 2017 to December of... January 2017 to December of 2017. And then 2018 will be the end of Invincible. I hope, if anything, he brings back Invincible with the daughter. If the daughter survives everything. We don't know what... I don't know, but there's a lot of twists and turns that happen with Mark. And... man, I gotta say that Robert Kirkman likes to make his character suffer. From The Walking Dead to Invincible, man, it's kind of, they get abused. He puts them through the ringer. There was a lot of bad things that happened to Mark, besides just the missing 5 years of his daughter's life, getting thrown away for another year in an alternate universe, getting raped. I mean, there's some crazy shit that he does to his characters. I will say that.
Alright, so now we're getting into the big 2. I only have 2 digitals this week, so I'm going to start off with Deadpool, issue number 22. This was a pretty good issue. This is basically talking about that, yes, Madcap is still on the loose, who is controlling Deadpool, but it's also, what I liked about this issue, it really focuses on his character, Deadpool, that he's trying to make some money because he has some things that he has to pay for. So what was funny, actually, that's it. Mm-hmm. So the funny thing, actually, is that he goes to this horse race dressed as Spider-Man, actually, which was funny, to get some money to be in a horse race and win a bunch of money, which he does. And then he pays for what he needs to pay for, and then also helps out with other things as well. So then he goes to his, to his daughter Ellie and I guess the mother-in-law that's there, and then things turn out really great. Like everyone's forgiving and stuff like that. But now Madcap, remember, he's in the story. He's controlling Deadpool's mind, and well, let's just say that for the people in the house, a not good ending.
Yeesh.
It's very horrific. Definitely. Silk, issue number 14. This is a clone conspiracy tie-in of Silk. And in this issue, this was a pretty good issue for Silk. Basically, she is trying to find out more information about, why she feels that she's still being alone. So she talks with this guy who she used to like as a ghost. And, they're going through, all their journeys together and everything. The only thing I got to nitpick on is that her costume and name changed to Silkworm.
As of this issue?
As of this issue.
Oh, wow.
Costume change and name. I don't know if I could dig the name. I mean, the costume's okay, but Silkworm. I mean, why can't you?
They're
just
breaking
keep it
her away
Silk?
from Spider-Man, which I think is dumb.
Or it could be just a clone conspiracy tie-in, because that's what it is.
No, it looks like she's gonna stay that way.
I don't know, but and also what makes it even more interesting, though, minus the nitpick part, she meets up with the new Spider-Woman at the end of this issue. So that's going to be something I'm going to be looking forward to seeing with their confrontation with each other. But Silkworm, I don't know. I just don't know.
All New Wolverine issue 14. Yes, it is back physically, and yes, it is going really swimmingly great. So, Laura ended up in the last issue killing an entire town thanks to Trigger Scent, or she thinks she did. I don't know for sure. But she's trying to figure out who did it. S.H.I.E.L.D. shows up, and they end up arresting Laura, and there's this woman who works with Nick Fury. You're going to learn to hate this bitch so much. Yes, I have to call her that. Because every time Laura tries to say something, she ends up hitting her. But they end up arresting her. They take her away. And then what happens is, she says there were these two planes, and they were the ones that dropped the Trigger Scent. And then Nick Fury's team gets attacked, and it turns out the planes are going right for Manticore, and that's where Nick Fury's like, we're not doing anything, we're going to take... And then I love how X-23 kind of says, well, you're not going to do anything? I need to find out who's doing this to me, who knows about the Trigger Scent and whatever. And finally she ends up taking out that soldier that I hated throughout this entire issue. She escapes captivity and swears that she's going to find answers. Gabby ends up going with her. You got S.H.I.E.L.D. that's now looking... So she's basically now enemy of the state. S.H.I.E.L.D. is now looking for Wolverine. She's like public enemy number one. She sneaks away into Manticore. And it looks like the woman from the first story arc, the clones of X-23, is going to play a huge role in this next story, in this story arc with Enemy of the State. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. Next issue, X-23 or Wolverine will be in Manticore, and I'm going to be looking forward to seeing what happens in Manticore. But really short issue. It really felt like it went by the snap of a finger because she got captured. She found out where the planes went, and then she found a way to escape and chase after where the planes went to find out who sent the planes after to begin with. I have my suspicions. I really do have my suspicions at this point. It could be somebody from Wolverine, Logan Wolverine's past. The woman that took over Manticore when Wolverine left in the previous volume of Wolverine, the recent one. But we'll have to wait and find out for sure. Clone Conspiracy tie-in, The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 21. Where was Kane? We find out that Kane survived the fight in during... Oh, shoot. Start again. Kane survived the fight during Spider-Verse. However... The other is the one that made the ultimate sacrifice, and Kane survived through the other. The other, however, was killed. Karn says, the other was killed, but somehow you survived. But because Kane is no longer connected to the other, Kane has his decaying back. He's starting to decay again. He's starting to die. So now Karn explains to him that he has the same disease that other worlds are suffering from. And it's kind of like a zombie epidemic. So Kane kind of goes through the multiverse to try to find answers about how this is happening. Maybe save himself and stop it from happening in other universes. Gwen finds out about Kane in the sanctuary. And she's the only one that knows. Kane has been hiding from everybody else. But, of course, Gwen kind of caught him one day, and we find out that, what's his name? Oh god, William something. Miles Warren is the reason behind it all the time, but there is a constant, and that is Parker Industries. So when Pete and Miles end up working together, that's where the zombie decay epidemic begins. We get to see Kane watch himself, his old version of himself, die. And he's able to kind of get a couple of answers from the autopsy he performs on himself, which is weird enough. And then they find out that in the main universe, that's about to happen again with Parker Industries teaming up with New You. And what he does is he decides to go back home and stop things from happening. And we find out what happened to Gwen, how he acquired Gwen, all the basic, background stuff that happened that led into Clone Conspiracy. I took this off of our DCBS physical pull list. After reading this issue, I can guarantee you guys that we will be getting Amazing Spider-Man 22 and Clone Conspiracy 3 or 4 physically. We will be ordering them from Midtown, and I did put them back on our DCBS order for January. This issue kind of solidified my interest in Amazing Spider-Man, at least until the end of Clone Conspiracy. What happens after Clone Conspiracy will determine whether it is a 100% make or a 100% break. And if it's break, it won't even move to a digital, review format. It will be done. So it's either at this point to be read physically, or I'm dropping it completely. So we'll see where Dan Slott is taking Amazing Spider-Man after Clone Conspiracy. The only Young Animal book that I like 100%, and it's solidified again in this issue, but this series is going to go to a digital format. Cave Carson has its Cybernetic Eye issue number 2. I like this book. Now, Doom Patrol's out there. Shade is out there. I'm not even going to get into Mother Panic, but because of the art mostly, and the story kind of went all over the place. But Cave Carson, I really enjoyed. So we find out that Cave Carson's wife, or for those of you that didn't read Cave Carson, she is she passed away, but she was a queen of, oh God, where was it? Oh God, I forget where it was. Princess of the Moldrog. So his daughter is a human Moldrog hybrid, and his boss is going to extract the daughter to help them fight against an alien invasion, and Cave doesn't like that, and he's like, well, it doesn't matter, we're not asking permission, we're taking her anyway. So he ends up fighting against the company that he obviously says, well, you know what, if that's how we're going, then... I love how he causes a huge explosion, and he's like, dude, I quit. So he leaves his former boss in kind of a mayhem, and he ends up calling his friend Wild Dog, who he teams up with to find his daughter, save her from EBX, his former company. The artwork in this book is really awesome, and he ends up saving his daughter. There's some really great stuff with Wild Dog in here that I really liked a lot, and there's a little bit of a backstory, like a back comic, so to speak. But anyway, we find out that the alien that attacked Cave, actually EBX has pills that or serums that turn humans into those aliens. It's going to be real interesting, or maybe it reveals the aliens that are hiding as humans. So I like this issue a lot. I'm definitely going to continue reading it. Will I continue reviewing it? We'll have to see as more books come out and as my time, we have to see how time goes. But this was a really awesome read. If you're going to read anything from Young Animals, try Cave Carson has a Cybernetic Eye. Try Doom. Try Doom Patrol.
Slippery comic book.
I know, it just slid right out of my finger.
Yeah, mine too, when I was holding it.
But a really good book. I really did enjoy it. Oh, Justice League issue number 9. Is it an alien hacker? No. Is it a supervillain hacking the computers of the Justice League, Cyborg, Green Lantern's ring, and Batman's back computers in the Batcave? No.
Who is it?
It is a man known as... I have to get there because it's all the way towards the end where Batman makes the reveal finally. He finds out who it is. Still going. The whole book is Green Lantern's ring. He can't control... Simon can't control it, and you got the Justice League fighting his, against the construct that his ring is making, and Cyborg shocks himself to try to stop. Here we go. James Palmer. That is the person who's hacking. This is the person who's hacking the Justice League, computers, Cyborg, and Green Lantern's ring. You want to know why? Because his wife died recently. She was a victim in one of the fights between the Justice League and somebody else, and this guy, James Palmer, blames the Justice League for it. So this is his way of exacting revenge. And the book ends basically with, of course, the Justice League comes together. Cyborg ends up rebooting. Flash realizes there's a way to reset Simon's ring back to factory. Like, basically reset it so that it doesn't have the virus in it anymore. It cleans it out. And obviously Batman doesn't have his Batcave yet, but he's still alive. And they end up showing up at the man's front door. Okay, if Justice League versus Suicide Squad wasn't coming next, if it wasn't coming next, because it is. This is ending it's the first Justice League comic in December. This is over, and then it goes into Justice League versus Suicide Squad. If this was not going into that, this would have been my last review for this book, because it's just like really what's going on in this book. I mean, it does not feel like Justice League at all. It just has these are generic stories we're just putting together feel. Even the guy that's going against the Justice League, it's like, really? I just... There's nothing that's making me really say, I need to come back and read Justice League anymore. The artwork is great, don't get me wrong, but the story just is not carrying the book. And to be quite honest, I don't know where I'm going to be in February, because January is going to be all Justice League versus Suicide Squad, and the end of December is when Justice League versus Suicide Squad starts. I don't know where I'm going to be in February with Justice League. I need to see solicits, and I believe solicits for February will be out soon. We should be getting our previews books soon. We were supposed to do previews for this month. That fell through. We might still try to do it anyway because it is for January. So maybe that's something we'll do on Friday, since I think you're off on Friday and I have free time, so we might do previews on Friday. But, man, I need to see where February is going first. Raven issue number 3. I'm enjoying this. This is the midway point for Raven. Raven is still trying to figure out what's going on in that big sphere and trying to save people. The sphere is basically kicking her butt. You've got the aunt who's claiming that, she's going to save Raven from what her mom turned her into. Yeah, good luck with that, mom, or aunt, whatever your name is. Raven finds out what's going on inside the bubble, and then finally these supervillains come out in the open and say, we're the reason why the sphere is there, and if you want to get rid of that sphere, we want, $5 million. And Raven actually ends up in the hospital in the end of this issue, so things don't look good for Raven. And I'm interested in seeing these who these new villains are and how Raven's going to deal with them. Like I said, this is the halfway point, so I guess from here, if Raven survives the hospital, sorry about that, if Raven survives the hospital, we'll be seeing her go up against these interesting supervillains. I'm enjoying Raven. It's an interesting book. Obviously, it then leads into Teen Titans. So, for me, Michael's reading Teen Titans, so I'm going to see where Raven ends up right before Teen Titans. And then it's going to go from there. Suicide Squad issue 6 is suffering from the same exact thing now that Justice League is in. This book has a couple of interesting moments, but basically because they have the Black Gate in their possession now, everybody in Arkham Asylum is going insane. And when I say everybody, I mean everyone, except for one person, Harley, who makes the statement that the Black Gate is working on reverse for her. Where the Black Gate turned everybody crazy, it made her sane. And that's it. To be continued. Also, I will say this, Zod. There was a fight that happened in Zod's containment area, and it looks like Zod is waking up. That's how the book ends. Harley proclaiming she's sane, and Zod is waking up. Backstory is on Killer Croc. So if you want to know Killer Croc's origin, that's the backstory for this issue. I can't wait till the backstories are over and we get an actual long story for Suicide Squad, which I guess we will get once we get Suicide Squad versus Justice League. Interesting book. Interesting book. That's all I have to say about it. It's a very interesting book.
All right.
But I'll probably end up moving that to at least digital read as of February. That's for sure.
All right.
Unless Zod stays.
I reviewed this on Comic Frontline, Green Arrow, issue number 11. So in this issue, we have Green Arrow and the team going after Eddie Fires, who was behind this whole thing of, doing the whole bombing on the train. Because mind you, this train is underwater. So Green Arrow
What is it with Green Arrow and water?
I don't know. So the artwork is just fantastic. I mean, I love the artwork in this comic book, as I have for the other issues. So Green Arrow's fighting Eddie Fires while Black Canary and Diggle, who is fine, try to get the train going underground so that way the water doesn't come in and cause the people to drown in the train. So they all go out and manage to escape along with Eddie Fires, who gets away. And now basically it's just, them, I guess, that are going to be going after Eddie Fires, because I don't think it's going to be the last that we see of him. But they managed to get the people out of the train under the water, but lots of awesome stuff happened this issue. I really enjoyed this issue of Green Arrow, issue number 11. So definitely going to be checking out the next issue to see what's going to happen next. And I'm dropped the book. There you go. It's a slippery book.
Aquaman issue number... Jeez, I know why it's slippery now.
Yeah, right? I thought it was just me.
No, the book's stuck in there. Now it's not slippery. Aquaman issue number 11. Alright, this book got better again. Aquaman, Mira goes to find Aquaman in the hospital, and yeah, Aquaman's alive. He's beaten up real bad, but they have that talk about, Mira, well, she's going to talk more about it later to him, but she's like, they're not going to back up our wedding. He's like, I don't care, but the best part comes right here, when the Justice League finally shows up. And he's like, are you guys here to arrest me? And they're like, no, we're not here to arrest you. As a matter of fact, we're here to make sure you're okay, and we want to know if you need help. And I love this moment with Superman and Aquaman. The very bottom 3 panels were amazing. And Aquaman's like, I found out the identity. It's Nemo, and you gave me a chance, and I appreciate that. And Superman's like, you kept your word, and that's all that matters. And I love how Aquaman's like, we're gonna find a way to bring the link between Atlantis and the U.S. again. And Superman's nothing but happy about it. I liked it. This was so good that the Justice League was there. And then, of course, Black Manta realizes that his original plan failed. So now he sets up another plan where he fakes that Atlantis is starting war with the United States. To be continued. This book just got re-interesting. However, in January, I'm not sure where it's going to be, so I did take it off of DCBS. However, if I am digging it in December, that's what Midtown is for. Even though their books come, literally, almost a week late now. If you'll notice, G.I. Joe was not in our haul video, nor was Wolverine. All New Wolverine, because they showed up, literally, yesterday. Green Lanterns, issue number 11. So Mr. Frank cannot control, I think it's Frank, he puts his name on a mountain, let me make sure, yeah, Mr. Frank cannot control being a Green Lantern, but not at first. At first, he saves the day, he pretends to be a Green Lantern, he saves this boy, he saves his dog, Simon and Jessica chase off after him, and then they find Frank and they threaten him, and he's like, no, you can't kill this man, he's my friend, he saved me, and basically, this is destroying the reputation of Simon and Jessica as Green Lanterns because they're talking against him. And the newswoman's like, well, he just saved these people, so does that not make him a hero? And I love how in this page, I know I'm showing a lot of art, you've got Batman saying, dude, you're talking too much, and to news reporters, shut up. And then you got Carol who's like, somebody's got to do something about these guys. I don't care if Hal left them in charge. They're destroying the Green Lantern name. And then, of course, Frank kind of starts to lose it and turns back into the Phantom Lantern. But then he accesses into another part of the spectrum. And it's to be concluded. I'm not going to say what part yet, but man, it's going to be interesting to see the next issue because he does turn from a Green Lantern to another Lantern. Very interesting, but he does prove in the end that Simon and Jessica were correct. That he wasn't exactly the hero that he portrayed himself to be. However, I mean, he has the Phantom Ring. Maybe in the end he'll turn good. I don't know. Maybe the Phantom Ring will be destroyed in the end. You never know. Or he'll escape into the universe somewhere and they'll be chasing after him for a very long time.
Cyborg issue number 5. With lots of twists and turns in this comic book, actually, for Cyborg. So basically it starts off where Cyborg gets welcomed into an organization from this guy Blue. Blue is the jazz player. And it's an organization where they help the people with, disabilities and stuff like that. So, since with him being half human, half robot, he gets into that organization. And here's some artwork to show, by the way. And mind you that still the father is kidnapped and the other one is still the clone. So what he does is that he actually wants to bring back his wife, Cyborg's mom. And I don't know if it's just me or anything, but throughout almost the end, the artwork kind of changed a little.
Yeah, it does look a little different than what we were seeing in the beginning.
Like it looked like really different. And I thought it was just me with my eyes or anything, but
it's different.
Yeah, because we were talking about this on Frontline Live, and it was just like really something. So the only way to bring his mother back is to make her into a robot, like they did with Vic. So things could turn out for better or worse. I do not know. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next in the next Cyborg issue. But it's going to be something else.
I'm going to throw this out there from the very beginning. Catwoman, you dirty, rotten traitor. So in this issue, we find out why Catwoman was...
Well, it's Batman issue 11.
It is Batman issue 11. I did say Batman issue 11. What did I say?
You said Catwoman, you traitor.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it's Batman issue 11. So we find out in this issue why Catwoman was in Arkham and on death row, and that it was Batman that kind of brought her in. We see Batman's plan in the works. However, Catwoman deviates from the plan, and we find out why. And then she basically betrays Batman's team and Batman and says, if you give me, what do you call it? What do you call something when somebody goes somewhere else and... where you're in trouble with the law in one country, but you can go somewhere else for protection. Basically, no, not even. She says, you help me disappear, and I'll deliver Batman to you. That's her promise. She says, I just turned on Batman, and she literally does reveal the entire plan to Batman. The entire plan to Bane. What Batman's planning. And she says, all you gotta do is give me enough money and a plane so that I can disappear and not have to worry about going back home to Arkham or being executed, yada yada yada. So she screws Batman just to make sure that she doesn't end up in the... Well, I don't blame her. I mean, she's on death row. But yeah, it looks like Batman's plan fell apart in this issue. It's going to be interesting to see if Batman could survive from it or if it was Batman's plan all along.
My book of the week has to go to, and I also review this on Comic Frontline, He-Man Thundercats, issue number 2 of 6. This issue was really amazing. Skeletor is now the leader of the ancient spirits of evil. And he's just with the mighty blade now and trying to find out more about it. Meanwhile, He-Man is just fighting Evelyn with her clan and some from the Thundercats. The artwork, I really admire the artwork in this story. So they're trying to defeat He-Man every which way he can, and he just keeps coming back stronger than ever. I mean, nothing really could take him down, even without his mighty blade. So Skeletor, after drinking Mum-Ra, because Mum-Ra was with the Ancient of Evil Spirits, he becomes even stronger with the mighty blade, and He-Man becomes Prince Adam, where the king found out that He-Man was Prince Adam all along. So at the end, we get a Thundercats Ho, where they will fight off against Skeletor in the next issue. So this issue is kind of focused more on He-Man's perspective. So I'm guessing maybe the next story they'll focus on Thundercats. But all in all, regardless,
looks like a great series.
It is. I mean, I really thought they would be ongoing, but
well, you know what they're doing? They're doing miniseries instead, so this way they could do more.
yeah, but it's just amazing. Definitely, and absolutely look forward to the next issue of that.
I love Nightwing issue number 9. It's a standalone story. You didn't have to read anything before issue 9, and you don't have to read anything after issue 9. However, events in issue 9 lead into the future issues. So Nightwing ends up having a nightmare, and Superman ends up showing up to Nightwing and saying it wasn't exactly a normal nightmare. He thinks a guy known as what's his name? Dr. Destiny is screwing with Nightwing's head, and I love how they continue to poke at, like, Nightwing says, well, your world's version is significantly less disturbing.
Is that Skeletor?
No, it's not Skeletor. That's Miss Dr. Destiny. And I love how Nightwing says, your world's version is significantly less disturbing looking than the guy I saw in mine. And he's like, and I love how Superman automatically jumps in and says, it's a common trend I noticed between our worlds, that things are more darker looking now. So I love how they're still poking at, old DC Universe, new DC Universe, and this is all going to lead into the big, humongous event that's happening in 2 years, because there is an event I found out happening in the summer, but it has nothing to do with world changing, anything. It's just an event that's going to happen, which is really cool. But Superman ends up going into Nightwing's dreamscape to kind of help him. He helps Nightwing fight off against Dr. Destiny. He actually takes Nightwing. Superman takes Nightwing. Now, Nightwing doesn't take Nightwing, but Superman takes Nightwing to a place in his mind that he feels Nightwing will feel like it's a safe haven, and that's Bullhaven. And Nightwing's like, I've never been here before. And Superman explains, in my world, my Nightwing became the hero of the city of Bullhaven, and he made it his own, and it was the first thing I thought of. That's why I brought you here. So basically, Nightwing made Bullhaven his own, and he became a great hero at Bullhaven. And Nightwing actually does feel more comfortable there, even though he has no idea, about the landscape. And then I love how Superman says, this is your world. You can bring back whoever or do whatever you want. And I love how Nightwing brings back the New 52 Superman and Tim in his dreamscape, as well as bringing his entire family. I love how they have the two Supermen there, though. That was really cool. The side-by-side. And in the end, they defeat Dr. Destiny. They find the Justice League, finds Dr. Destiny, and I love how Nightwing vouching for Superman kind of gets Batman to finally start to warm up to him. And just the back and forth between Superman and Nightwing was awesome. And the one thing Superman said was, Dick Grayson is a multiversal constant, meaning in every single universe, Nightwing is basically the same. And because of all that's happened in this issue, Nightwing actually decides, I want to go visit Bullhaven. So the next issue, Nightwing enters Bullhaven once again. Will this trigger memories of the pre-New 52 Nightwing in Nightwing's mind? This will be interesting, and I'm really excited to see Nightwing get into Bullhaven in the next issue. Trinity issue number 3. We go into Bruce's past now, where Bruce somehow, but he says, this is not my Gotham, there's something wrong here. And Wonder Woman kind of makes the assumption that they're being put through some type of a test, and they need to figure out what it is and fight off against it. You've got Lois, who's trying to break into the barn because she doesn't understand what's going on in the barn. You've got young Bruce being attacked by something, by guilt, I guess. And you have Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman saving young Bruce. The artwork in this book is so freaking awesome. Oh, Francis Manapul, why? Why do you have to leave this book? But anyway, is it Francis Manapul that does the art? I want to make sure now. Wait. I could be wrong. I don't want to make statements because it has to be Francis Manapul. I mean, look at that. That's some awesome paneling. I believe it is, but I need to make triple sure, and it would probably say it at the end of the book. Yes. Script. No. Pencils by Clay Mann. Clay Mann actually does the art in this book. Wow. Now that I look at it, it doesn't have... Yeah, this isn't Francis Manapul's Superman. You can tell right away. I'm so stupid. I'm sorry. Clay Mann. But Clay Mann does an excellent job in the artwork for this book as well. So in the end, Batman explains why he actually ended up coming to the dinner for Clark. He said he'd rather be around strangers right now than his own family because he's having a hard time dealing with Tim's loss. The 2 panels alone of Batman and Superman here were just excellent with the back and forth with them. And that's what Wonder Woman says, we're being tested somehow. And I'm not going to spoil the ending, but let's just say Lois finds out that Poison Ivy's behind the whole thing, and she has a truck to be continued. Love it. Clayman actually did an excellent job in the point of transitioning the artwork that I didn't even really, truly, honestly realize it until I sat down and looked at the art and said, is it? And then it turned out it was Clayman. But Clayman's doing a great job. Francis Manapul is still doing the story, though, and it's going amazing. I can't wait to see how this first arc ends. Finally, Superman issue number 11. Super Sons prequel, if anything. Superman and Batman I've already reviewed this actually on Comic Frontline. It just hit me. I've already reviewed this on Frontline. If you want a full-fledged review, you can go check out my review. Long story short, Batman and Superman put Superboy and Robin up against several challenges. If they fail, they can't fly Batman and Superman's colors anymore. If they succeed, they once again will get their costumes and their ability to use their family's namesake superhero personas again. Unfortunately, they fail all the way up until the very last, I guess it was sort of a challenge, where they end up saving their fathers from, I don't know what it is, some type of a monster, and Alfred makes the proclamation, they are our Super Sons. I love that. I love that he's the one that says it first. So it just sets you all up for Super Sons coming in, I believe it's February. And then Clark and Bruce have a nice moment at the end of the book, but then we find out, even though Damian and John had that moment where they worked together, it's a long road because they end up fighting by the end of this issue. So their friendship / brotherhood thing is going to be very interesting to see in Super Sons, because you could tell that they're going to be fighting at each other tooth and nail for a very long time, but I think it will build in the end for a very, very, very strong bond, a very strong friendship like Tim and Connor, definitely. Maybe even stronger because they're both very young and they're going to grow up. Well, no, Tim and Connor were very young too, so you're getting a new Robin, Superboy connection, and I think they're going to end up very, very tight, very close in the end, because John doesn't put up with any of Damian's shit, and Damian is Damian, but I think John is going to be the one that challenges Damian to the point where Damian will not only gain respect for John, but they are going to be like, bro, I think that's where they're going with this. If not, then they're just going to be at each other's throats for the rest of their existence, and it'll be hilarious and fun to see when they fight with each other, and then even better when you see them finally come, to an agreement and start working together. And that's it for this review, guys. Thank you so much for being here with us. Hopefully, again, you had a very happy Thanksgiving. As always, we are Comic Frontline, your number one source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. We have tons of videos that we bring out each and every day, even on holidays, apparently. And also, don't forget to check out ComicFrontline.com for even more Comic Frontline goodness. We have tons of channels connected to Comic Frontlines. Our own personal channels, number one. Number two, Frontline Gaming Zone, where you see all the gaming. And I'm not saying anything for 17, but there could be some. And I mean, Zone 4 is also connected to Comic Frontline in its own way. So, lots of stuff on Comic Frontline. You don't want to miss out on a single thing. So, hopefully you are subscribed. This way you don't miss out on anything. Take care, everybody. Keep reading, keep collecting. Love you guys. Hopefully, again, I'm saying it again, you had a blessed
and happy
Thanksgiving. And we'll see you guys back here again. I'll see you guys for the whole video. Hopefully Friday, but probably not because of the holiday. Maybe Saturday this week. And then back here again for the Dark Avenger comic review on Tuesday.
So, have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
He's been standing like this for a while doing the thing. So, yeah. Good night, everybody.